All right. So I'm Jan Ravel, and this is Barry Dennis. And Barry is with Coexist in
Lake
Lake,
Oswego.
Lake Oswego, Washington, Oregon.
Oregon.
I'm sorry,
What state are we?
We're in the Pacific Northwest.
We had a
in
hard
any
time
case.
getting here, but we are still in Oregon.
So as we begin, Barry, tell us a little bit about your background. You're a musician. There are instruments all over the place here. There's piano and singing bowls and guitar and
Flutes and didgeridoos and drums. And,
okay. So you have a Coexist celebration here several times a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have every second Sunday celebration at 10:30. We gather together and have a lot of fun and dive into the human potential movement, basically. So it's really gathering from all wisdom teachings, from science and philosophy, and what's the cutting edge. And so there's, half of it's really taking from what's available, but the other half is just opening up to what's coming. And that's where we get into the intuition. That's where we get into,
Okay.
what's tapping on us inspirationally.
Okay. Well, let's back up a little bit and talk about you. You said that you studied music at the University of Washington.
Yeah, oh, it's U of O. That's
U
part
of O. Man,
Yeah.
I've got Washington and Oregon.
Washington on
Really?
your mind. Yeah.
Okay, U of O. So you've been with or involved with music since you were a child, or what?
Yeah. It was. I started out just singing, so I was singing in a lot of productions as a kid, and really loved singing and expressing that way. And then I got really passionate about the piano and about music in general in a bigger sense, and started studying piano and really teaching myself mostly, and following my inspiration, and began writing music. So I began writing a lot of music probably my senior year in high school. I could hardly play the piano. I just started my senior year in high school, but the inspiration to write the lyrics, to write melodies, to write and just see what I could do with my hands started there. And the passion is and was very, very intense.
Wow.
For expressing in lots of ways, but musically, yeah. So then I went on to do some study of classical music at U of O. I'd only been playing 1 year, and I got into the classical school, which was one of the most terrifying moments of my life, to try out for the classical school, because you have to pass a test in front of the dean of the music school. And I'd only been playing for 1 year.
Oh,
I sat down and I played a classical piece, doing the best of my ability, and I got in. It was crazy, but that's
pretty amazing.
it was a moment. And then I started playing guitar at the same time right after that, and there was a piano in the hall where I lived, and I played all night, and started playing guitar and took up percussion and flutes and different instruments along the way.
So you're a musical prodigy.
I guess so. I think more what I am is just a creative artist.
Okay.
All around,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a writer, and I write lots of poetry. I've written over 400 short stories, and I have my book that's published by Hay House, and I have 4 CDs that I've produced.
Wow.
And
Well, tell us your book name, so if people want to go to Hay House and buy your book, they
Yeah.
can.
Well, I mean, it's right there. See it right there.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. So the book that's published by Hay House is called The Tchotchke Challenge, and it's clearing the clutter from your home, heart, and mind,
Okay.
and discovering the true treasure of your soul.
Oh, nice.
So we start with the outer,
Uh-huh.
and working with our environment. Our environment, we're going to get into meditation and intuition.
Right.
This is why I wrote this book, because the first thing we need to do is recognize the effect our environment has on us. A lot of people don't really understand what we surround ourselves with has effect on our mind, on our soul.
Mm-hmm.
And so by being aware of your environment and making sure that it's clear, it helps clear our mind. And that you surround yourself with things that lift you up and feel good to you is really important. So we start with my book and I have a program called the Tchotchke Life Challenge. It's really amazing. I love this. I just finished I'm always tweaking at it, but it's a whole year program with me. And we go through your environment first outside of you, and then we begin with the body, the mind, and the soul. So it's about clearing, clearing, clearing so that we become an open channel in every way in our life. And it's a year-long program. I'm so excited about it. It's once a week with me for one whole year. And we work at clearing everything out of the way of that which our soul is here to do, be, become, express. And we start with our environment. So the Tchotchke Challenge, it's about the challenge we face today. Because what we're told today in our culture is more is better.
Right.
Constantly, that's
Right.
the message.
Right.
Get more, eat more, buy more,
Do more.
Yep. Have more,
right.
All of it. It's like, and it's a lie.
Yeah.
Less is more, so because what we want is to get more in touch with our soul. That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
But all this outer distraction is taking us away from what we're here, our mission on this planet, on this expression, in this life. So that's kind of the core of my work with my book and my web program. It is to release that. So that's my first book with Hay House, and I'm working on a couple more now. So to come back to you, I think of myself just as a creative artist.
Okay.
I write poetry, stories, big stories, music, CD, and I'm a producer and a director and all that.
All right. So at the end of this interview, just so you'll know, we're going to have Barry tell us about his Tchotchke Challenge and how you can take part in that.
Yeah.
And where to find his CDs as well as his book.
Absolutely.
Or books, plural.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how did you started music, and let's talk a little bit about Coexist before we get back into the intuition and meditation, but
okay.
How did you get involved with Coexist? Tell us a little bit about it. I know it's an international program or organization, but how did you get involved? What drew you to it, and what do you do here?
So I started my own church, I guess it was maybe 12 years ago, called Celebration Church. And started that with, I guess we probably were like 30 or 40 people a Sunday. And in 3 years, we were 300 people.
Wow.
A Sunday. Some people think it was the fastest growing New Thought church ever. I don't know. We grew fast.
Yeah.
And that happened. And then a lot of things changed, and I wrote the book, and I got published by Hay House, which was a total miracle. I mean, that's a whole nother story. But all of a sudden I was published by my dream. It was my dream.
Yeah.
To be published by Hay House. And I was an unknown author. I hadn't written anything before. Anyway, I got published by Hay House, and I went on the road and did all this stuff, and I still do. I tour and travel and do lots of things. So once I did that initial book tour and all that, then I had this idea of creating something that was really outside the box, that wasn't a traditional, didn't feel at all traditional like church, because that's, for a lot of reasons, that's going away. I mean, I'm not even making that, this is not just a feeling I have, it's a fact.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create something that was outside the box, that was pushing the envelope, that was a new way of coming together and celebrating our unique gifts as individuals. And you can, language is a funny thing. You can say it any way you want. Our soul, our spirit, our heart, our mind, our expression, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's all words. But anyway, so what I did was I created this movement called Coexist. Right now we meet for sure every second Sunday celebration. So the second Sunday of the month, we gather together and we have an amazing time. We go very deep. We laugh, we sing, we go very deep with meditation. I bring messages and ideas and thoughts and stories, tell my stories. And so we do that, and then we meet on Wednesday night, that same Wednesday night, and we really focus on Wednesday night about a worldwide movement, vision that it's creating. And these are called the visionaries. So on Wednesday night, the visionaries come together, and we're about supporting each other. It's like a mastermind group on steroids. It's like we support each other in being our best, but my philosophy is part of being your best in this life expression, in this experience of your soul, really is about what are you here to do and give to the world? What's your gift to give to the world? If that part isn't part of your equation, if all you're doing is looking at your goals and this is what I want to do and I want to be and I want to get, you haven't finished the puzzle. And if your focus is always on what I want to do and I want to be and I want to get, you will never be satisfied. Never fully. Your soul will never fully feel like I did what I was here to do. So in this mastermind group, the visionaries, we gather together, and half the meeting is spent on our personal goals and what we want to accomplish, both physically, mentally, financially, everything. The second half is what we want to do to change the world. what we want to do to make the world a better place. What's going to be our legacy? How are we going to make it better? Now, on the surface, they may not seem to be the same thing, but they are.
Mhm.
If you're doing something to make the world a better place, then you're, at the same time, you're fulfilling the things you want to do within your personal life.
Right.
And vice versa. But if you're leaving something out, so that's what we do on Wednesday nights. It's the Visionary Group, and it's really exciting. I just got a grant from Google for $120,000 a year in support. So it's not money, but it's what Google is going to give. Would cost the average person $120,000 per year to get this much exposure on the web. So they're giving me and this movement, my movement, the Visionaries and Coexist, they're giving us $120,000 worth a year of exposure to advertise our product, which is awakening, which is higher consciousness. Isn't that great?
It's
So
fabulous.
we're selling love, and it's free.
That's wonderful.
It's exciting, and we're making viral videos, and I'm writing songs, and we're doing music videos, and just all kinds of stuff. So that's what we're doing to change the world. The old statement, the old idea of, give a person a fish to eat for a day, teach them a fish to eat for a lifetime. That's so wise, and it has to do with all aspects of life. So if you can forgive a person one day and they feel your forgiveness for that moment, or you can teach them how to forgive,
Mhm.
and they experience forgiveness for a lifetime. You can give a person acceptance for who they are, and they're going to feel like they just took this warm shower in love. Or you can teach someone acceptance, and they're going to feel like they're living in a shower of love as they give others acceptance.
Mhm.
So what we're doing is teaching and giving this acceptance, love, forgiveness, all these ideas, non-attachment, now moment. We're just giving this to the world now
Mhm.
through this movement.
Mhm.
So that's the two sides of Coexist. We meet and we celebrate, everybody can come. And then Wednesdays for people who are really ready to roll up their sleeves, make a difference in the world, and really improve themselves, body, mind, spirit, everything.
Wow, that's really awesome.
It's
Great
exciting.
stuff. Yeah.
It's really exciting. And it's pretty new. I got the grant maybe 2 months ago from Google.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's terrific. That's terrific.
Yeah.
So if you were dealing with people who, and we are, dealing with people who are looking to create some sort of financial success in their life, because a lot of people are, particularly, well, we were talking about this earlier, there are a lot of people who want to create an online business or an offline business.
Yeah.
They want to be able to do it from the heart, from a place of authenticity, from a place of giving, but they also want to make enough money to not just support themselves, but to have some left over and take a vacation and,
Sure.
and be able
Thrive.
to be do some philanthropy with their money. So
Absolutely.
how does that fit in with, well, we're talking about in particular intuition and meditation, but let's work with what you're doing as well and see how we can tie it all together.
Yeah. So how does, to try to summarize what you've said, that's a big question, statement / question. So how does, let me see if I got this right. How does intuition / meditation, how do we incorporate that into a life of success, both financially and with our vocation?
Yes, it is. But my question also is, you're talking about the visionaries and how you're working on self, but you're also working on globally on the world.
Yeah.
So making those changes on the world comes back to making the changes in
with yourself. Absolutely. Be the change, as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world.
Right.
So be that, give it, be it, give it, be it, give it,
So
express it.
how does that work with somebody who doesn't have a lot, is just beginning, or has just come out of the corporate world and is now starting a business, and they really want to do it from that giving space?
Yeah.
But they also want to be able to make a financial gain.
Of course.
In their life.
Of course, yeah. Well, the number one thing I believe that all of us need to be asking ourselves. So I teach a thing, and it's in my web program. My web program consists of not just my current book, but 2 other books that I'm writing. I've incorporated the ideas into it. So I teach something called the 3 LPs. It's live your passion, love your people, lift the planet.
Okay.
Live your passion, love your people, lift the planet. I believe that these 3 ideas dance together as one, and they're what matters. This is what matters to all of us. It's like I created the 3 LPs by listening as I toured the world to everybody I spoke to. what's moving in us now. Because in much of the world, not all the world, but in much of the world, we're so blessed that we've gone past we've gone way past survival.
Mhm.
So we used to, in order to survive as a species, it was just survive. It was food, shelter, and clothing. That was it.
Mhm.
And that's all that mattered. And that's how we lived for millions, if not billions of years, depending how you look at it. But that's it. Well, just in the last 75 years or so, this just happened. We are living in a world for the first time in human history where we don't wake up every single morning and think, how am I going to get through this day? How am I going to get food? How am I going to keep warm? How am I going to survive?
Mhm.
This is the first time in history. Now, not everybody has this luxury, but a lot of the world does. Those of us who have this luxury, who live in a world that is so blessed, the next level of survival, and I don't mean just to get by, I mean survival, is the 3 LPs. Live your passion, love your people, lift the planet. So that will create survival, just like trying to find food will. Because if we don't love each other now, if we don't live our passion and give our gift to the world that will lift the planet, we'll be in trouble.
Mhm.
We're at I call it the tipping point.
Right.
We're at a tipping point. This is what the Visionaries are all about. We have a production company called the Tipping Point Productions. We're at a tipping point. We have so much power and so much influence on the world, and if we become selfish within it, we'll tip the wrong way, and things will not go well 100 years from now for this planet. But if we recognize our soul wants to give and wants to express and love and give our passion, then we'll tip in a way toward love and acceptance. So, getting back to your question, that individual that is striking out, they're doing what I'm saying has to be done for the future of this planet, of humanity, let's say, more specifically of humanity. The planet's going to be fine with or without us, but we won't survive.
Good point.
but we won't survive unless we get our act together.
Right.
I call it the reset button. Reset, try again. Oh, you didn't do it right. Reset, try again. I don't want to have to do the reset button. So the way we get around that is by living our passion. So everyone, I think, number one, what's stirring in you? This is the next level of evolution. It used to be survive and get food, da, da, da. Now it's what's stirring in me. Okay, I have enough food, and I'm not cold anymore. I got enough clothes, and I have shelter. The next level of evolution and survival is, what do I want to give to the world? Where's my passion? What am I here to do? What's this all about? Because in order to be successful, in order to gain something back, I believe one must feel a desire to do something amazing. One must get in touch with their soul and their passion. What is my thing to give? My unique spin. It may be a similar thing, but it's different because it's coming from you. And putting that first, what comes first, the horse or the cart? Well, the horse comes first. That's your passion, your love, the thing you can't live without. I wouldn't be a musician today if I didn't have an intense desire to play music. The hours of practice, the hours of work. It has to do with everything. So for that person who is striking out, that person who wishes to become financially successful, that person who wishes to become a success in giving their gift, I want to say put the horse first, which is your passion and your gift. That's the number one. And happiness is what we want. True happiness. Okay, so we don't want money.
Right.
We don't want money. We don't want recognition. We don't want friends. What we want is to be truly happy. Underneath that is going to come all those other stuff, right? But what we want is true peace and contentment, happiness. That comes from stepping into your passion and giving your passion to the world and stepping into your gift. That happiness starts to come. And when you feel it, when you're in it, other people feel it, and you become a magnet for all that other success. But happiness is what we want. Once you step into your passion and what you're really on fire about, and you're stepping out into it, you do become a magnet. This law of attraction thing is real, although I'm careful about how I use it.
Yeah.
But it is real, and it has to do with your passion and whether you're in it or not. And when you're in it, other people feel it when they're around you, and the universe responds to that energy. Other things fall into place. So I always like to make sure that people, we're putting A first. If you want money and you're making that A,
Then there's all that worry and tension
Oh,
and no happiness.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think money's the second thing. Money's a third or fourth or fifth thing.
Mm-hmm.
But money's a wonderful way of moving energy. It's a wonderful way of using energy. But it's just one way
Mm-hmm.
of moving energy. And putting happiness and passion and desire first. All these things shall be added unto you. By seeking, biblically it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Well, what is the kingdom of heaven? To me, you can define it as my passion.
Mm-hmm.
My passion, my gift, what I'm here to do for the world. That's first. Then all these things will be added unto you. All these things will be given. So then the question you may be asking, well, how do you find your passion? But I'm going to leave
You're
it up
right.
to you.
You're absolutely right. You read my mind.
Okay. I do that too, by the way. So, yeah, so passion's a big one. So figuring out what you want to do, finding that is quite a thing. Because suddenly we live in this world of more opulence, we live greater than kings or queens could ever imagine. An apartment today, in an average apartment, we have more creature comforts than the wealthiest kings or queens had a couple hundred years ago or 100 years ago. They could not have imagined it.
Mm-hmm.
So we live better than kings or queens. We need to remember that. We're so wealthy, and it's not money, but the wealth of goodness has come to us. And on top of that, we stand on top of that. And that's the work of our ancestors. Our ancestors worked for millions, if not billions of years, if we go, depending how far back you want to go and evolutionarily, worked for what we have. We inherited all this. We didn't make it. We inherited it. So we stand upon their gift. Now what are we going to do with it? That's when it comes down to finding your passion. So when we sit in this wealth, relatively speaking, we sit in this wealth, the first thing we have to do, I believe, is move, okay? So move. Don't sit there and wonder, what am I supposed to do if you're not clear? It's move, because, the universe, spirit, intuition, inspiration cannot co-pilot anyone that's sitting still. We have to get in motion. The universe loves motion and excitement behind that motion. So most of the time, however, we will not go from A to Z in a straight line. That's what we all want.
Right.
And the
right.
ego wants that.
Tell me the answer.
Right now. The ego wants a straight line.
Yes.
I don't want any struggle. Don't make me have to work for it. Right?
Don't make me think about it.
Don't make me have to think about it. Don't make me have
I
to.
don't want decisions.
I don't want to make any decisions. Just
tell me what to do.
And I'll do it,
yeah,
and that's it.
Right.
So, but the soul is really interested in the journey. Okay?
Okay.
The soul loves the journey. The
Mm-hmm.
ego hates it. The ego wants money now, success now, adoration now.
Right.
All that, just give me that, give me that. That's why we're so obsessed with fame in our culture. We are obsessed with fame and with celebrities because we think they have it all. But let me tell you, I know those people. I know some of them. But we don't have to know them. Just really learn about them. They're more miserable in general than the clerk at the grocery store. And I mean that because they bought the lie. They bought the lie, and not all of them, of course, but so many bought the lie. But all you have to do is just look at history. Look at Marilyn Monroe. Look at Elvis Presley. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at all these tortured souls. Yeah. They bought the lie that this is how happiness comes. More, more, more. Adoration, adoration. More money, more fame, more fame. And what did it bring? Like spiritual tooth decay. They just were miserable.
Yeah, that's right.
So we become obsessed with that, and it's not the answer. The answer lies in the willingness to just express from the inside out, get in touch with our soul, and know that that's not, that A to Z. If I could just get that, I'd be happy. No, we don't. Our ego doesn't even know to bring us happiness. So the soul is interested in the journey. The journey isn't instant fame, isn't instant money, isn't instant anything. It's not instant coffee or instant cocoa or instant oatmeal. I make oatmeal every day, by the way, and it takes me an hour. but it's the best stuff for me because my soul wants that. I could do instant in the microwave, but it's not going to give me the nourishment
Right.
that my body needs. So I do the steel cut. It takes about an hour, and I put some fruit in it, blah, blah, blah. But it's a good metaphor for what the soul wants in this life. So the journey looks like this. And the soul's interested in all that.
A bunch of S curves.
It's a bunch of ZS curves. Yeah. The soul loves it all. And the more we can get in touch with the joy of the journey, the less anxiety we have about, well, what is exactly, I want to know exactly what I'm going to do now, and what I'm supposed to do right now. And I know exactly, just for me, I don't know what book to write next. I don't know. But you know what? One day I just started writing one. You see what I'm getting at?
I do.
And I have like 20 ideas on a wall. I don't know. One day I literally just went, just start writing one. I looked up, that's it. I just started writing. Now, I may start writing at a certain point and go, this isn't it.
Right.
This isn't it. But you know what?
I
wouldn't
know
have
that one, yes.
I wouldn't have known it wasn't it if I hadn't started writing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by the universe loves motion. Spirit, your soul loves motion. Your soul loves the journey. If we sit and wonder forever, we will never have enough information to change our mind, to write the different book, to do the different thing. So it's about stepping in wholeheartedly towards something.
Isn't that inertia thing about it's easier to change a moving object, the direction of a moving object,
Then to get it moving.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how you find it, I would say, first of all, is less important than moving. Knowing what it is will come in varying degrees, because I still don't know. Okay, here I am. I'm a published author with Hay House. I have 4 CDs. I have this movement, Coexist. So when I say I don't know, what I mean is it's degrees of knowing.
Yes.
So I went from, in my 20s or whatever, of having a feeling. I studied music and did all this stuff and had some passion and did that, but I didn't know where I was going, to, maybe, so let's say back then I knew with maybe 40% assurity. And then I moved more and went this way. Oop, that's not for me. Oh, that's not for me. Oh, and I got a record contract, but that was Hollywood. And, and I got into that a little bit, and it was like, I don't like that. It doesn't feel good to me. So I went away from it. And I went back toward my soul, which has always been writing music that has a message, a story, is spiritual somehow. And it was my own thing, and so that brought me back a little more towards center. And then I wrote a book and got that published, and that moved me. So it took me away from music, got me into writing more, and so it's like this journey. It's like a fish, trying
You just made a good point though about going into the Hollywood aspect of it, the record contract, and it not feeling good.
Right, not
and
feeling
that you
good.
Listened to it. I mean, some people would say, well, this is what I want because this is going to bring me fame and money and get a message out or whatever, but they take away the part that they won't be happy.
They won't be happy.
So
that's the
I
main.
think that's a huge point right there.
It brings us right back to what I said. Well, we want to be happy.
Right.
That's success. If happiness isn't success, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Nothing else can beat that. I don't care how much money you have.
But as long as you're moving, then
you're moving. And you're moving. And moving can be meditating. Meditating is moving. In other words, when I say moving, I don't want it to be misinterpreted. When I say moving, I mean moving in the direction of something that you are really excited about. And that could be just evolving your ability to be still. That's moving.
Okay, I was going to say, let's talk about how meditating is moving. How would you consider that?
Excuse me. Hi.
Okay.
Is this alarm okay?
No.
Do you know what is it?
I don't know. Okay. He's moving.
He's moving.
He's finding his way.
We just had an interruption here. That's all right.
Yeah, he was lost, but now he came in here. He asked, no, this is perfect.
Yes,
he came in here and he asked a question. And is this place? And I said, no, it's not. So now he's going to be able to continue on his journey.
Right.
Go to the next, ask the next question, and it's going to look like this, but eventually he's going to get there.
Going to get to the right place. Yeah. So how does meditating get you to the right place? And how is that considered moving?
Yeah, it's moving because yeah, again, to make sure we understand my definition of moving, certainly it's the literal definition. I like movement. I think we should be moving. In other words, moving our hand if we're a writer, moving our mouth if we're a speaker, whatever it is, doing something. But movement simply means the progression of your experience. So, the Dalai Lama says, I have a very busy day, so I'm going to meditate 2 hours instead of 1.
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
So he has a whole different view of things the way most of us do. It's like, I don't have time to meditate today. Whereas the Dalai Lama would say, oops, a lot of things on my plate. I'm going to get up a little earlier, make sure I'm really centered before I attack this. So meditation is moving. Meditation is a movement to the soul. Meditation is a movement of consciousness into a stillness, which is a movement towards stillness instead of activity, which we need a whole lot of in our culture. We're so addicted to distraction. It's unbelievable. We don't want to be alone with our own thoughts in our culture. For God's sakes, don't make me think about who I am, what I'm doing, and who I'm with.
But isn't that the danger of sitting and meditating, is that these thoughts about who I am and I'm not good enough and I don't deserve and I've got too much going on, that all comes in because I'm sitting there trying to be quiet.
Well, you have to face your issues. That's the thing. We're trying to get away from our issues with our iPhones. It's like Facebook, texting, messaging, phone calling, the television, whatever. It's constantly running away from our soul. Constant distraction from that divine discontent that's trying to let itself be known. What are you doing? What are you doing? This isn't what you're, but yeah, when we get still, we're going to hear voices often. We're going to hear our heart often say, really? Is this what I put you here to do? Really? I think I'll just go back to eating potato chips and watching TV because I don't want to hear that. It scares me. But that therein, going through that door is the joy. I mean, that's where we start to find what we're actually here to do. So also, meditation is very, like we talked about before, I think before the camera was rolling, we talked about meditation a little bit, about the traditional ideas or the misunderstandings, the misconceptions of meditation.
Going up in the Himalayas.
And
in a cave.
In a cave and,
growing your hair.
Yeah, and sitting all day and meditating.
Right.
I've heard, some wonderful masters say, I got the easy way out because I didn't raise children. I didn't have a job, raise children, have a husband or wife. I went into a cave. I escaped it all. And that's so true.
It is.
And a wise master will tell you that if they attained enlightenment by escaping and doing that, then they will be the first ones to tell you, okay, I may have attained some type of enlightenment, but I'm more in awe of what you do. Because
relationships
you're in the relationships, you're in the trenches.
Yep.
I took a little shortcut and I don't even know. There's a whole aspect of which I'm missing stuff. So recognizing that. So meditation, specifically for the warrior, for the one who's starting that business, for the one who's in that relationship, trying to figure out relationships, for the one. Okay, we have how many? We had several days for this interview. We go on and on, but meditation for the average awakening being is, to me, moments. Okay, and for me, one of my greatest meditations is playing the flute. I love to play the flute to meditate for two reasons. The music that it creates is soothing to me. My mind becomes completely relaxed, and I breathe when I play the flute. Now, playing the piano is a meditation too, big time. Some of my greatest visions and intuitions, and I mean visions, I have visions, which almost always come true, come to me when I'm playing the piano or the flute. Because for me, what happens is, when I play music, I do not play notes. I play my soul. So right now, for example, I can play for you something. I could sit and play for you right now, something that has never ever been played before and never will be played again. I can do it all day long, any day, at any moment, the drop of a hat. In fact, I can have you push a couple notes on the piano and I will make a song out of it right now. So what happens for me is my mind becomes clear and my hands just start moving. It's meditation. I don't even know what's happening to me.
Mhm.
I get so clear, and then I will have visions, then I will have ideas, then I will have inspirations, and these things happen. I mean, I have future premonitions that come to me usually when I'm playing the flute or the piano or when I'm in this state. Now, when I'm writing a song, that becomes both intuition and very intellectual. It's a combination.
Mhm.
But when I'm just playing, that's a meditation for me. So everybody can't play an instrument, but you can create the same conscious state by making moments to breathe and be still. And we can all do this, but it takes commitment. A great master in India said this. He was over 100 years old and is a yoga teacher. When I say a teacher, yoga is not, we have a misconception about yoga. We think of yoga as a physical movement. Yoga is a religion, it's a spirituality, it's a philosophy, it's everything. Anyway, so a great yoga master said this. He asked a group of people who came to see him, a friend of mine was there and witnessed this. He said, "Who do you think my best friend is? Who do you think my best friend is?" And people started saying things like, "Oh, God. No, God is not my best friend. Your assistant over there. No, no, not my best friend. Let's see. Is there somebody special? No, 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 don't have that in my life. Well, who's your best friend?" He said, "Discipline. Discipline is my best friend. For without discipline, I would not be the being that I am. I would not be healthy. I would not be alive. I would not have the energy that I have created by my discipline." So I never forget that.
That is wonderful.
Discipline is my best friend. He said, "I would not know God without discipline. Discipline is open my mind to God." So through discipline, we create a relationship with our soul. We create that time. And it takes discipline. We have to be willing to, quote, sacrifice, but it's no sacrifice because the gains are bigger.
Mhm.
But so for me, meditation comes in little spurts throughout the day, usually. I don't usually have a long meditation time. Sometimes I do,
Mhm.
but usually it's spurts. When I'm working and I'm feeling anxiousness, okay, maybe there's been some phone calls, maybe I'm stuck doing something, I know it's time to meditate. If anxiousness is building up inside of me, it's time to meditate because that's going to take me off track. It's not going to get me where I want to go, anxiousness. And I'm not perfect at all at it. I don't catch it every time, you know. I get caught up into it and go for an hour anxiously and go, what am I doing? I've been going for, here I am wasting my time feeling anxious. I don't want to feel that way. So that discipline of trying to catch yourself before it turns into something that has its own life and takes over your day and now everything's bad and everything's negative because we've allowed it to spiral. So what I will do is when I catch it, when I'm on my game, I catch it. And I can do many different things. One of the first things I will do is go to my piano and sit down and just play. That clears my mind, or my flute. And my flute I take outside if it's nice out. So I get into nature, I walk and play my flute all at the same time. And it's a walking meditation. Completely releases all stress. I come back to center. I feel better. I reset everything. So it's really easy to meditate if you're thinking in terms of 1 minute or a couple minutes of breathing, of cleansing your mind. Just and letting go of all the stress. Just doing that raises our vibration and clears the mind chachki, what I call mind achki, clears the excess from our mind. Just that fast. I mean, you can feel it, can't you?
Mhm. I do, yeah.
It's that fast.
Just
That's a
like that.
meditation.
Yeah.
And if you do that throughout the day, every time you're feeling anxious, if you would just breathe and just say 5 times. In my web program, we do this regularly. Take these moments to breathe. I have them do it with me. so that I can create a habit. That's why it's a year-long program. I want to create new habits,
Mhm.
not just a weekend where that was fun and then it wears off.
Right.
It's a year-long, once a week
Right.
with me for a year, so new habits are formed. So if we can begin to catch ourselves when we're falling off of our center by breathing, by coming back, by going for a short little walk, whatever it takes to clear your mind, that's a meditation. So we don't need to think about somebody in the Himalayas in a cave, in the yoga position, which is wonderful, by the way, to do that. It's really great. But for the warrior, for the Western consciousness, for the world we live in this culture, this is the way to get started. And it's really the way to enhance your life in every area.
Mhm.
In every area. Your relationships, your work, your health, your mental health, your physical health. Just getting aware of the moment you begin to feel anxious and stopping it. You probably add 10 years to your life just by
Yeah,
getting rid
yeah.
of the poison that's in your system now.
Right.
Because what's happening is you're releasing poison. When you feel anxious inside, you've got poison moving through your bloodstream, for real. And it's getting into you. You're releasing it, and it's anxiousness, and it's creating an ulcer, and all that stuff. So by catching it, stopping it, breathing, releasing endorphins through the breath, breathing releases endorphins, moving your body releases endorphins, bringing back a sense of peace. Everything then comes back to center. Then you can be productive again. Whatever it is you're working on becomes productive again.
Right.
Instead of falling into a hole. If I'm writing a song or a poem or a book or whatever, if I'm feeling anxious, I can sit there all day and pound at the piano. But what's the point? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
So by centering again, we can be productive. And that's what brings us back to the Dalai Lama. He understands. I need to get super centered
Mm-hmm.
because I got so much going on today.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can do that, or we can spread it throughout the day and take moments to breathe and take a minute here, 5 minutes there, 30 seconds here, and create a more productive, healthy body, mind, spirit day just by making that a habit. But who's our best friend? Discipline.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let's move now, not away from meditation, but into intuition.
Yeah.
So when somebody is using intuition, do they need to meditate in order to develop their intuition? Or what is intuition?
Yeah, what is intuition?
And how do we use that when we're talking about creating this new business?
Yeah.
And business from the heart, how are we using intuition for that? How have you used intuition in creating your business that you have today?
So meditation certainly can play a part. I know people, everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's universal things. There's not a single person who will not benefit from what I just said about breathing.
Right.
Everyone will benefit from it. But certain people will benefit more than others because certain people were born with a predisposition towards anxiety more than others. Okay? And that's just our wiring, and that has to do with, that's another subject, has to do with karma and what you're here to work off. But that we could go, again, how many days do we have? So we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. Anyway, everyone can benefit from the breathing, but different people will more than others. Intuition the same way. So we can develop intuition certainly by clearing the mind. I believe that the more we clear our mind, the more open we are to intuitive impulses, which come from all kinds of things. But without clearing the mind, I think is where we get we'll get muddy between what's real intuition and what's wishful thinking.
Right.
And wishful thinking is generally egoic. So we might be wishing, again, for fame and fortune. You want happiness. I'm sorry. What you actually want is happiness, and you believe fame and fortune is going to bring you happiness, and it probably wouldn't. It would probably create more stress than you could ever imagine you've ever had in your life. So go back to happiness. But clearing our mind, clearing the mechanism, allowing stillness to come. The still water is where the ripples are seen. If it's rough water, you can't see the ripples.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we want to create still water of the mind, still water, so that the ripples, which are of the spirit or the soul or higher consciousness, inspiration, whatever semantics we want to use, subconscious mind, lots of ways of saying it. Those ripples are what we want to become aware of, because those ripples are the intuition,
Mhm.
the inspiration. Inspiration and intuition are very closely related. But if it's stormy in there, we can't see the ripples.
Right.
You won't recognize them from all the wishful thinking or all the distractions. So clearing the mind is a really, really helpful thing. Doing the breathing, closing your eyes, sitting, being quiet, listening to music that clears your mind. All these things can help with intuition. Also take a shower. So just for, I don't know why, but I found this to be universal. I don't know a single person who doesn't, there's certain things that trigger it. And taking a shower or a bath
You're right.
brings intuition, thoughts, ideas. And it's only because the mind gets clear. It's just a way of clearing the mind. People are forced, we don't have to be forced into it, but unfortunately in our culture, it's like the shower is a time we've actually forced ourselves to turn off our phone.
Yeah.
Because we can't take it in the shower.
Uh-huh.
If we could, we probably would. But anyway, get away from the phone, get away from the television, get away from all those distractions, and suddenly it's just me.
Mhm.
And there's a soothing sound of the water, and
Mhm.
it's soothing and it's warm and it feels good. And all of a sudden, I know everyone I know has these moments of insight in the shower or in the bath, But you don't have to limit to that. You can create it by the other things we've already talked about. So clearing the mind is really helpful to bring around intuition.
Well, excuse me, you also mentioned when we were talking about anxiety
Yes.
in the body that's those rough waves.
That's
when
those
you
rough
can't-
waves.
You can't get the ripples or get the intuition when you've got so much anxiety going on inside.
No, it's very difficult.
Mhm.
But intuition, so intuition definitely comes when we clear our mind. It also comes, I think, while we're in motion in the direction of something we're passionate about. So we can be we can have a lot going on in our mind and have a lot of intuition come as long as it's something we're excited and passionate about.
Mhm.
That excitement brings intuition. That passion brings intuition. So both of these things. And if you're doing both, now it's intuition to the 10th power. So if you're involved in something you're excited about, you're going to feel intuition. You're going to feel inspiration, intuition move you. And then if you can get quiet too, while you're in it, after say an hour or two of passionate work, there's going to be some explosions.
Right.
That's what I experience. Explosions of insight and intuition. And for me, it's become visions. So it wasn't always that way, but it's become visions now, where I actually see things, feel things, experience things at a high level.
So it wasn't always that way. What was it before you got to this point of visions?
Visions have always been a part, but visions are more common now for me. And I think the visions are simply a greater expression of the inspiration, intuition. It's more clarity of what is trying to happen. So now I actually see it.
Mhm.
I actually see things that used to be more just a feeling, which is
Okay.
all you need. You don't need anything more than a feeling. But I think over time, I think when I was younger, I probably had more visions, and then I got older and
Right.
talked myself out of it, and now I've come back to it. But anyway, so over time now, the intuitions have become visionary. So when I'm playing the piano, and I sometimes, and I usually know when it's a future event that I've been shown or seen. I actually know it, or if it's just an idea that is coming, I can tell the difference. So I'll see something, and I will know, oh, that's going to happen next year. That's something I feel is coming in the future, and it does almost always. Not always, but almost always. And other ones are a vision of an idea I'm working on to create, and it creates clarity. Oh, I see what I'm trying to do here.
Mhm. Okay.
It created more clarity for me, so I can get there a little faster.
Mhm.
So by being involved in what you're excited about, or at least moving in that direction,
Mhm.
creates intuition for sure. And then stillness can help calm those waters so that the ripples can be felt and seen and understood. Because it can't be understood. They're there. I think the ripples are always there. I think that intuition, spirit, higher consciousness is always there with those ripples like this.
Mhm.
Always.
Mhm.
Always, always, always. It never turns off. We turn it off because this happens.
Right.
We push ourselves away. We need stillness so we can see this. Or we need to be in our passion so we can feel this. Because being in our passion is a really exciting state to be in. It's a soulful energy. It's like a white light shining bright. And that white light is almost like stillness.
Mhm.
Think of it as like big waves instead of shaky ones. They're big
Mhm.
waves. And ripples can be seen in big smooth waves,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's the shaky ones that can't be seen in.
So if you were going to give people ideas of, let's say, 3 things about meditation, intuition, something that they can do to develop it for themselves, what would you say?
Okay, yeah, I can give lots of things.
We only need 3.
Okay, 3. Okay, got it. 3. Keep it to 3, Mary. Keep it to 3. I'm going to make them super practical for the Western mind,
All right, good.
because we got to deal with the Western mind, we have problems with meditation. So the first one we already talked about, and that's just breathe in through your nose, hold for 5, and then out through your mouth. And then allow your breathing to become natural. And when you breathe out, you want to push out. You don't just do more than just breathe out, push out, push it out, push it out, push it out. Because there's actually stale oxygen in our lungs.
Mhm.
So we want to push the stale oxygen out. It's like it gets stuck in there. Anyway, push it out. And when you push it out, let your body like a balloon. And then you want your breathing to return back to normal. But that normal, you will find you probably weren't breathing normally.
Right.
We breathe too shallow. It's like the shaky wave again. Real breathing, and if you watch a baby, okay, a baby breathes from their diaphragm
Mhm.
and breathes actually nice and deep. And it comes from your diaphragm. We tend to breathe from our chest and shallow. So we want to allow, once we take that deep breath, it actually makes us start breathing from our diaphragm again. And that's a meditative
Mhm.
breath. That's the first one. And that's something anyone can do. You can do it at a red light. You can do it on the computer. You can do it anywhere, anytime. It's that simple. And that will add peace, focus, joy, clarity to your life. Number 2, I call it the smiling meditation. It's one of my favorite things. And this is, I love science. Everything I'm saying is science. Everything I'm saying right now is scientifically proven. Scientifically proven. So the breathing thing, science has proven everything I just said. Endorphins get released, less stress, everything. Smiling, okay. What comes first, the happiness or the smile? Well, it's scientifically proven. Smiling first brings happiness. You don't have to have happiness to smile. You can actually smile and receive the happiness from the act of smiling. So
Isn't that amazing?
it is amazing.
That's incredible.
We're actually wired to smile. It's an evolutionary thing. We evolved to smile
Mhm.
so that we can have the ability to create happiness without a reason, you know. So anyway, I just call it the smiling meditation. And when you do the smiling meditation, it's, you know, you're going to want to do the breathing thing as well. But if you sit down for a moment, take a deep breath, and just smile. Just allow a faint smile, a little bit on the sides of your face to go up. And then you might even feel a little bit of laughter just inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Can you feel it?
Oh yeah. It's hard to smile
It's
and
hard.
not laugh.
And then laughter. So
Mhm.
you just smile and you might feel a giggle come up and you just start giggling. I do. You know, it's just like a giggle. You know, it's just happiness. Wait a minute, where's that coming from? Nothing happened. I didn't make money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe it is an inside job. Maybe I'm supposed to be happy. Maybe that's my birthright. So it is your birthright. Your birthright is to be happy. But we have gotten away from it. So the smiling meditation. Another one is yawning. Yawning, yeah, look at that, contagious.
Oh, all you had to do was say
I
it.
know, I have to just say it. But yawning, you can actually create a yawn. And yawning is another one. It's like the smiling meditation. It actually is extremely centering. And and this has been scientifically studied. It really has. I've read a lot about it. By yawning, we actually, all these things happen in our body. We straighten our body. We take a deep breath. The frontal lobe is enacted, just like the smiling, which we want to live from our frontal lobe rather than the amygdala. The amygdala is the fight or flight fear part of our consciousness that's still with us from, lizards, okay? It's there, and we're here to evolve past that. So we want to live from here. Yawning moves us to the frontal lobe. It creates a calmness. You'll find the yawning response occurs a lot before some big thing happens. Like a lot of times if somebody's going to give a speech or talk, they'll find themselves yawning. Or if you're going to take a test, you find yourself yawning. That's your body actually telling you, I'm going to make you get centered now. I'm going to open you up to your higher mind. Like smiling, we don't have to wait for the yawn. We can create a yawn. And it's contagious. It's one of those things. Why? Well, one explanation for the reason why is because it's so healthy that when somebody yawns, it's just become evolutionarily, it's become a contagious thing because it's a gift. We give it to each other. It's really healthy. And this is new. This is like, I don't know, I'm not sure how long this has been a breakthrough, but it's fairly new in things I've been researching. It's fairly newly understood how healthy it is to yawn. So there's 3. I could keep going, but there's 3.
Well, I've been having a hard time sitting here not
I know.
just saying the word makes me like,
I know. It's really, but it's because your body knows it's good for you. That's why. And unfortunately, we have a stigma in our culture. It's like, oh, don't yawn. It makes them think you're bored. No,
Yeah.
That's not it. It's actually really, when
so we should have in a meeting, we should have a time.
a yawning
A
time.
yawning time.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if things start getting tight,
yawn.
yawn.
It's
Have a group yawn.
absolutely true. It's
All right.
100%, and it's
Right.
scientific, and it's true.
And this is good for all those hyper types,
Yeah.
that have so much going on,
Yawn.
so many plates in the air. It's
Yeah,
time to
'cause
have a group yawn. I can't watch you. No.
You can force it, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
it happens. It actually happens.
Don't have to force it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you it's centering, and it opens your consciousness.
Well, now that you've centered and opened your consciousness, how about if you play a little soul music for us?
Okay,
And then I'm going to ask you about contact information
okay,
so people can get in touch with you if they would like to do that.
sure.
That's why we sat here at the piano, so we
Yeah.
could do this.
Well, you asked me to play soul music,
Right.
so I'll play a little chant that I wrote
Okay.
when I was in Africa. The word is mwea. Say that.
Mwea.
Mwea. I found it to be really a powerful word. Mwea. It's like
Mwea.
mwea.
Mm.
It's really powerful in the sound of it and the feel of it. What it means in this ancient language, it means soul. It means soul, or to have soul, or to be soulful. So I took this word, mwea, and I write all kinds of music, but a lot of times I write little chants, and this is the chant that I wrote using mwea. Mwea, I open up my mind. Mwea, I open up my heart. Mwea, I open up my mind to the truth, to the truth. I am whole, I am whole. Way up, open up my life. Way up, open up my soul. Way up, I open up my heart to the truth, to the truth. I am whole, I am whole. Way up. So when I play something like that, I will.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll have my celebrations here,
Mhm.
and everyone will be singing, raising the vibration. Way up, and just woof, you can just feel it.
Yeah,
And I've written, I'm sure, hundreds of chants like that. So
that's very beautiful. And is that or any of these on your CDs?
let's see. No, No, I don't think I have that on a CD. I have some chance on CDs, but not that one specifically.
Okay, all right. So if somebody wants to get your book or get your CDs, I keep looking over here because he's
There
got a
they are.
rack of.
I'll run
there
and get
they
them
are.
really fast.
Okay,
Ta-da!
ta-da. All right, let me hold the book.
So there's the book.
Here's the book.
But and here's a couple of my music CDs.
Okay,
You know, the best thing to do, however, is, you know, go to my website, www.barryadennis.com.
okay,
And there, all these things are available, my music, my
Right.
book, and that's where you can sign up for I call it the Tchotchke Life Challenge.
okay, good.
And it's the year-long program. It is my favorite thing. The book comes with it. Also, a coaching session one-on-one with me comes with it. The Tchotchke Life Challenge is regularly $549 for the year. At spring, I always do a spring special to clear it out. So it's $149 right now for the whole year, including a coaching session. And my coaching is $150 for an hour. So it comes with all that. So right now is the best time ever to
Okay.
do the program.
We need to do the dates on here because who knows when somebody will be watching this video.
Yeah. So the special ends June 30th. The
And we're in
spring special.
2015, so.
Yeah.
From now, which is
March
still in March,
25th, I think,
Yeah.
or 28th.
24th.
Who knows what
24th.
day it is?
I
Does
happen
anybody
to
really
because I
know what
had,
time it is?
I had an appointment. Okay, so March 24th till June
June 30th.
30th.
Yeah.
You can sign up for the
The
Tchotchke
Tchotchke Life
Challenge.
Challenge for $149. It's an entire year with my book, and it includes a coaching session for an hour with me, which is $150. So it's the best. Yeah, it's the best time to do it. I love it. I want to get it to the world. I really want to. I know it sounds ridiculous sometimes, but I really want to make a difference
Mhm.
in the world. I want my life to matter. I want to know what I've been here to do, and we all do. That's the thing. It's like the most selfish thing we can do is be compassionate and try to make a difference, because compassion is the most enlightened form of selfishness,
Mhm.
and because we begin to feel really good inside.
Mhm.
So everything I do is always about that. It's what I'm motivated to do, is try to do something to help people, to change the world, to make a difference, to bring enlightenment, happiness, joy, laughter, or a good yawn.
That too, right.
So yeah, the best thing is just go to my website, www.barryadennis.com,
All right,
and everything's on there.
all right. Well, Barry, thank you very much. This has been delightful.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right,
Yeah, it's been great.
see if we can turn this off now without too much challenge.